when the clock hits 13. You've been working, but you're flirting with the weekend. You can freak out. 1 in 1,000,000. You're a gem shine when the light grows dim. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. Okay, so I'm hoping you can see this. I recently found out my account has a lid on it. I've had quite a few people write me in the last few weeks letting me know that they couldn't DM me, and that led me on a little bit of an investigation, and I realized that my account's been in the censor box for a long time now for things I had posted about years ago, and it said it's moving me to the bottom of people's feeds and being monitored. So anyway, I'm hoping you can see this. What I'll do after is send this out as a link direct, and I'll save it to the feed, okay? So while you're hopping in, what I'm doing today is a free access overview of one of the 10 lab blocks in the Beautiful Life Lab. Let me know if you are in the lab. If you are, you likely went through this lab assignment when we went through all 10 at the beginning of the year. The calendaring lab is something I thought would be really fun to review today and give those of you that aren't in the lab to give you free access to it, because it's just the perfect time of year to be doing that. Let me know in the comments if you're on and you have kids, especially if you have teenage kids, because this is something that is very applicable to them. I know my 15-year-old, which in so many ways, sometimes I feel like she's much older, has been doing what I'm going to review with you today for the last couple of years. And it has really served her to be able to, especially come into a new school year, being able to identify productivity blocks and just be really organized with her time so that nothing starts to feel too overwhelming. If you want to receive the link to the free access lab block, I'm going to leave this up until September the 1st. So what I'm doing today is just a nice overview of the content. You can drop a calendar emoji or just the word CAL, C-A-L, into the comments, and then that will send the link to what I'm going to review with you today right to your inbox, okay? So then you can save it there. And I will save this video to that landing page just so you have it. So the calendaring lab is one of 10 lab blocks that I go through in the Beautiful Life Lab. And this is the specific one that really helps to create the mechanics around your time. So again, I thought this would be a really good time for us to review this, because many of you are either in school or starting school soon, or you have kids who are starting school soon or already in school. And this is a really good time to just reset priorities, right? And refresh. So that's what we've been working on a lot in our home in the last week or two, is creating the kind of routine and lifestyle that helps bring our best forward. And I want to open up talking about that. That's really on my heart as we get into something that could be all about the mechanics. What we really want to start with is the heart, because, you know, if you've been here for a while, you know that I'm very passionate about this topic. And while it might appear that I'm all about, you know, the routines and the discipline, that is the result of what I want to first go through right now, which is coming into the heart and being really clear about what we're here to do and who we are and what we were created to be, and coming into congruency and alignment with that. That is what this work really is. And so before we get into some of the content that I'm giving you freely in this lab block, I want to start here with the conversation just about the heart and where we're all at. And there's three things that I think about when we come into a new season, right? There's this opportunity to take everything up a level, to elevate ourselves, or maybe just to reset and come back to feeling the way we did, you know, last year at this time or 6 months ago, because we have fallen into some habits that weren't serving us, right? So at the start of a new season, we do often feel this excitement and hunger to want to hit that button. There's three things that I want to start off reviewing that I think are so important when it comes to going through work like this from a very strong perspective, strong foundation. The first one I can't stress enough, and it's really the ability to have a clear identity of who you are, and maybe not so much who you are right now, but who you are becoming. Having a very clear vision of who that person is, which is likely not the person you identify with right now. And this is why this work can be so exciting, is it's being very clear about that higher version of yourself. Because here's something to understand. All versions of you exist right now. All future versions of you exist right now in this moment and are activated based on the decisions and the lifestyle you're living today. Think about that. The future you that is healthy and thriving and has a tidy home and has relationships around her that are so nourishing and reflective of her morals and values, and has a great relationship with her kids, and is feeling the strongest and healthiest that she's ever felt, and is seeing success in her business because she approaches everything with consistency and focus. That version of you exists just as much as the opposite version that is feeling constantly behind and is not feeling the strength and that glow and vitality, and has relationships that are struggling and feeling heavy. All various versions of ourselves exist right now in this moment, based on what we do right now, based on what we plan to do and come into agreement with, will activate that future version of ourselves. So seeing yourself clearly, not so much who you are right now, but who you are becoming, who you are working towards. Seeing that person very clearly is so essential to this whole process, because if you are identifying simply as how you feel right now, and a lot of that could be determined by the external, right? It could be determined by other people in your life. It could be determined by the way people are making you feel, the way some of your decisions are making you feel. That identity that you feel right now is going to cause you to sabotage any plans you put in place around protecting your time or around your daily habits and routine. So it's important that you go into the future a little bit here and see yourself well, see yourself healthy, see yourself clear and strong. Maybe there's a picture that you have of yourself that reminds you of a time where you felt that. And that needs to be part of this exercise of really starting there. The second thing is taking inventory of the influences in your life. So bad company corrupts good morals and good vision. So the people that are directly influencing us right now, the people that we tend to be talking with most days, the people that we're engaging with, whether on social media or in real life, these people in our life, in our sphere, are either elevating us or they're bringing us down levels, right? And so whenever we're coming into a new season and really looking to happen to life, we need to be looking at who are these people that we're allowing to weigh in and speak into our life or just take up real estate in our mind. This is the time to reset. You always want to seek out somebody in specific areas that already reflects back to you where you're going. So let's say you're somebody who really wants to grow their business, who wants to be successful in the way that you deem success. You need to have somebody in your space that is already there, like double timing it. Like you might feel like, working on your thing, your business, whatever, for 3 hours a day is what it's going to take, and you're hitting it consistently. You need to have somebody in your life that's doing it 6 hours a day, who's like already ahead, who is the elevated expression of that goal that you have. So you want to seek these people out. If relationships are something that is on your mind, like spend time with people who reflect to you what it looks like to nurture relationships and to make that a priority in their life and not just be distracted, with all the various distractions we have in our life. So my point here is just take inventory of who is influencing your identity right now right? From an emotional standpoint, from your ability to take action. Because once you have somebody in your life who is 150% more aggressively hitting those targets, it's going to automatically cause you to elevate because the normalization changes, the way that you see things change, right? So that's point number 2. And then the last point I wanted to make, and this is something that maybe you could look at for the month of September. You want to give this some thought over the next week and a half and really draft up, what kind of day do I need to have to move into that new expressed identity? So this is number 3. You've got to go into a burst mode with a daily routine that elevates you beyond your current expression. So, and the reason this is so important is often our emotions can take over. And again, if our identity, if our vision of ourselves and where we want to go is not clear, then we will quit very early on. We need to come into agreement with who we're becoming at the start of a new season. And we need to come into very consistent action. This is what I'm calling burst mode. So if you guys have the landing page open, you'll see I gave you some examples. I did this for myself at the start of August, where I detailed what my simple daily routine needs to look like and what I am very diligently working at with consistency in order to bring that next version of myself forward. So you'll see it there. I itemize the time blocks of what I'm doing when I'm awake, when I'm going to bed, what I'm doing during my waking hours. I did the same thing for my daughter Chloe. We worked on what would be the best daily routine for her because she has some clear goals right now, and it's really looking at, okay, working backwards from that. What kind of day do you need to have with consistency in order to bring those things forward? So I suggest you do that and you create just a simple image on Canva or PicMonkey and just make that the background on your phone, something that you constantly see that is reflecting back to you what you need to be doing in order to bring that person forward. And it's not going to be easy. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but this is burst mode. This is all about doing something with great consistency to activate that next level of ourselves. Biblically, one of my favorite verses that speaks to this is Colossians 3:10. Put on your new nature and be renewed as you learn to know your Creator and become like Him. And if you're a Christian, that is the walk of a Christian, is ultimately to be a reflection of our Creator in this world. We're always, that's growth as a Christian. That is our greatest interest, is to become more like our Creator and to do things that reflect Him, right? We're putting on a new nature every day. And that's essentially what this is you coming into congruency with the person that you are here to be. And it maybe you feel like you've actually not ever come close to that. I think there is this is growth as humans. We're always looking to grow. That's essential. We're always looking to learn. We're looking to just feel a sense of alignment in our life with what matters most to us, right? So anyway, I wanted to just cover that section first, because that is really important before you come into what I want to just share in this lab block. So now that we've done that, what you'll find on this landing page are quite a few worksheets. You're going to find just a nice flow and things to be questioning as you look at setting yourself up for a new season. So in the Beautiful Life Lab, one of the very first assignments we go through is a time log. So we all have 168 hours a week. So it's an honest inventory of where that time is going and looking at just really looking at it and being able to assess, okay, this is when I tend to be going off track. This is when I feel my best. This is This is when things feel productive. This is when I feel like I'm very distracted. So it's looking at your natural day and taking in at least 3 days of data so that you're able to make some new decisions going forward. And going back to what I just shared with you, when you have a very specific day by design in place, it will be the result of taking an honest inventory of where your 168 hours are going each week. So starting there can be very helpful. It's not a comfortable exercise. It can be difficult to be honest with ourselves. I do suggest you could very simply just carry around a piece of paper and every hour journal. What did I just do? What did I just do? When you have times of your day that feel really good, be very specific. What were you doing that led to that feeling? What helped you feel productive? How did you get that workout in today? How did you get to bed at 10 o'clock tonight? What needed to happen in order for that to happen? So journaling is really helpful as you come into this exercise. Then I go into, in this lab block, I go into Google Calendar. So GCal is, in my opinion, one of the best ways for you to help set yourself up and stay on track with bringing forth that person you're becoming, because you're literally assigning, you're putting your time to work. Right? You're being very specific with what you want your time to do for you. And there's quite a high level of protection that starts to take place when you're very clear with your days and with your week, and you come into it with intention and with organization of what you're doing and when you're doing it, and everything starts to have a place. There's a place for everything. And when you have that, you don't feel like things are starting to get off track. So the first part of this, I explain all the things that GCal will help you do and how to set it up. So if you're somebody who's using a paper calendar right now, that's great. It's just there's not room for redundancy. There's not things that you're going to be able to just automate and therefore make sure happen in a more consistent manner. So I do like to use both. From time to time, I will often write out my quarter on paper and then I implement it on GCal. So your calendar is sacred. It is what is protecting what needs to happen in order for your best to come forward in this season. So you're going to track everything on there, from time-specific actions like appointments, workout classes, day-specific action. So there might be batched tasks that you're doing on certain days of the week. Maybe it's taking your home and dividing it up into certain batches of cleaning, for example. Maybe on certain days you do the floors and certain days you do the bathrooms, and you just really hold to a plan. Because the more you start to do this, you actually become more free. I know it seems weird. I'm very much about flow in my day, but the reason that I have that is because everything has a time and place. So having your calendar reflect back to you everything that's important to you is the goal, right? I also itemize here different themes or buckets that you might want to create within your Google Calendar. So by the end of this exercise, you'll have a really pretty calendar going on, color coding happening. Some themes that you might think about are things that are business related or self-care, family, financial, school, kids' sports, birthdays and anniversaries. Everything would have a bucket and it has its own color, so that when you're looking at it, you know, okay, anything that's financially related is in red. So when you look at your calendar, you can see when you're taking care of certain things. The next section, I get into time by design, and this has a lot of really good meat to it. So I'm excited for you guys to go through this free access version of the lab and just really get into it when it comes to setting up your entire year. So I start there, your year by design. So certain things to think about as you're integrating them into your calendar. Then we go into quarter by design. So thinking of your year like you might seasonally. So Q1 being January through March, Q2, April through June, Q3, which we're just in the middle of right now, July through September, and then Q4, October through December. A lot of businesses rotate that way as well. And I like doing this because then I'm able to look at the whole year and really think, what's the right time to be focusing on certain things? So Right now, for example, is a really good time to just be going through the closets and donating things and really setting our home up for, even if you live in a hot place, for more of that winter season where we're coming more into the heart and the home. And whereas summer, things can get crazy and messy and disorganized and in abundance, right? And so you want to bring everything in a little bit tighter, so that you might really establish that at the start of this quarter. That's what you're doing. You're setting up your home to come into your home's winter. So I give you lots of ideas there around the quarterly setup. Then month by design. So when you're thinking about setting up your Google Calendar monthly, there's certain things that you want to make sure you're doing every month. So one of the things I mentioned in here is a finance day, a day where you pay all the bills, you reconcile credit card statements, you look at your spending versus your budget. On that note, I might do a financial lab in a few weeks. Yeah, I think I will. The finance lab is the final lab in the Beautiful Life Lab. I think I'm going to open that up as a freebie in 2 weeks. It's a good one. Anyway, back to the monthly. Maybe there's certain orders you place every month, like your doTERRA order or certain Amazon subscriptions. Maybe a deep house clean day. Maybe you schedule a massage once a month. Things like that. If you just have them as automations in your GCal monthly, it's beautiful, because you just never feel like you're losing track of the things that are supporting you to be your best. And then week by design. This is where you can get into batching things on a weekly basis more repetitively that are bringing your best forward, right? So let me think. So today's Sunday. A lot of people will practice a Sabbath on Sunday. And what that means is Saturday tends to be a very busy day around the home. They're doing a lot of meal prep and a lot of cleaning because they want to really come into rest on Sunday, right? So the key thing with weekly batching is that you're constantly looking at, okay, what's the thing I'm reverse engineering from? So if Sunday is going to be a rest day, what does Saturday need to look like in order for that to happen? And that's the idea here with theming for productivity in your week. You're looking at, okay, if you have business goals, if you have a goal of connecting with your customers, if you want to really step that up, then you could either approach that where every day you're connecting with 5 or 10 of your customers, or you're taking a whole day where you're going to connect with them. But you're not just doing that, you're also scheduling time for following through on what your customers share with you, right? So you might have a day where you're connecting with your customers, and then the next day is your day for taking action on the things that you've learned through connecting with your customers. So maybe it's nurturing that relationship even further, and it's not just stirring up activity and then letting it drop, right? So theming your week, especially if you're a business owner, is really helpful. I would suggest here that you start with things that you feel are being forgotten. Whether you own a business or you run a home, what are those things that you feel keep slipping? So I give you a lot of examples here on the landing page of ways you can theme your week and batch things. I also give you some automations to consider plugging in, such as date nights, a meal plan template. So especially in the school year, I find that my kids, they love knowing that we have a plan in place for meals. It's like the most exciting topic in our home is, what are we having for dinner? So it helps me if I have just a very consistent plan that I keep reworking each week. So I give you some ideas there. And then day by design is where we finish off here. And this is the most crucial part of bringing the clearest version of yourself, the highest version of yourself forward, because this is what is protecting that. This is what's supporting that. And so I spend a lot more time on the day by design on this sheet, or on this landing page, sorry. What I always look at when I'm coming into a new season is, what do the bookends need to look like? What does the beginning and the end of my day need to look like in order for me to bring my best forward? Because even if I just do that and the middle, most of the day tends to go off track, at least I know I'm being supported by those two things, those two routines, the bookends, right? So start there. The more that you honor the design of your day, the greater your life is going to feel. And I think if we do this a couple of times a year at the start of a season, we are always going to be growing. So coming back to what I talked about at the beginning, burst mode, what I want to encourage us all to do right now is, as we think about this new season beginning, whether it's the school season or you just want to think of it as fall, what could change in your life if you actually went into 30 days of strict, consistent application of the routine that you designed for your day? If the thought of that scares you, or it might even come up as exhaustion, or it feels tiring to think of getting up at 5 or 6 a.m. and hitting something with great intention for 30 days. If that gives you like a little bit of a scared feeling, that's totally normal. First of all, because you're going to be charting territory you haven't before. And I think that can stop us in our tracks sometimes. So feel into that. What's the resistance coming from? And what do you have to lose? Just really getting clear on where you want to go and itemizing what that day needs to look like. Give it 30 days. Give it your best for 30 days. And I bet you'll be unrecognizable in certain areas of your life. I think that can scare us sometimes, to be honest. I know for me, when I've dabbled in different rhythms when it comes to my health, whether it's putting on more muscle or getting stronger cardiovascularly and therefore getting leaner, or achieving a new goal in my business, it has always felt like a little uncomfortable at the beginning. Like, oh no, I just want to come back into comfort. But when we sit with that feeling and we ask, like, where is that coming from? Sometimes it's because we don't have anybody in our life reflecting back to us that person that we're growing into. And so we need to up level. We need to seek out, even if it's, and for many of us, it's going to be in the online space. It's going to be seeking out voices, seeking out people who are already crushing it in those areas that we're putting a cap on ourselves in. Because they raise the bar, they change the normalization relationship that we have with that thing. So that might be something you need to look at, is just if the people around you are normalizing a lifestyle and a way of being that is not reflective of where you want to go, that's going to influence whether or not you can be consistent in a burst mode season. Okay, so at the end of the lab landing page, if you guys are on there on another device, scroll all the way down. You're going to see worksheets that invite you to journal. So you're going to see day by design. I give you an example of my day by design. Week by design with my own example. You'll find other worksheets that might not make total sense to you because they're out of the Beautiful Life Lab program, like the parking lot and the Sunday scrub. But go ahead and print them anyway, since you've got free access to this right now. And I'm sure they'll serve you. I've also given you some examples of routines in the home. So saying good morning to your home and good night to your home and things you can do there to really set the home up. I find that's like one of the biggest things, is not coming down to your kitchen each morning to a total disaster, because then it just, again, reflects back to you the kind of day that you're probably going to have. So if you come into your kitchen and it feels peaceful and there's a place for everything, your day will tend to feel the same way, right? And then there's some worksheets for the kids, just around house responsibilities, things like that. And at the very end of the lab, I give you a promo code. So if you guys have any questions, post them here. If anyone wants to go live, you're welcome to request to go live. I give you a promo code if you want to join us in the lab for 20% off. And I'll just, I think if you DM me a rocket ship, you'll get the link for the lab. But I just posted it there in the comments. Let me scroll up and see what you're thinking of this content, see if you have any questions. And it looks like a lot of you would be interested in the finance lab. That was one of my favorites to pull together. I've been running my own finances since I was 16. So it's something I love. I love making every dollar count, and being a good steward with what I have. And so I definitely like the process, and I like teaching women the process, because I think sometimes it's something that's just ignored, and to be honest, we're just not taught. So, oh, thank you, Pam. She said the lab is amazing. You won't regret it if you choose to apply it to your life. Thank you for doing this. You are like the female version of my husband, which I find very inspiring and easy to learn from. Oh, that's sweet. That's great that you see your husband in that light. I love that. Yes, agree on the surrounding of people. I find it challenging to find like-minded local friends that we can support each other in our growth. Yeah, it can be lonely, and sometimes you're the one being tapped on the shoulder to elevate the group, which is why you're going to need to seek mentorship, even if it's in a silent way, in the online space. But there is always somebody out there, you guys, who is the lived expression of the goal that we have in our heart right now. So none of us are great at everything, right? But most of us have something that we're really great in, and that we approach with consistency and diligence. So we are elevated in that sense within that goal. Okay, a lot of you, so you might have seen the pinned comment. If you type CIL or a calendar emoji, you'll get the link for the content I just reviewed. Hey, Marianne, she said, so true. These quarterly check-ins are a great way to reel back the habits. Yeah, and just hit a reset for sure. I love how every season can feel different. I think that's one of the awesome things about being human, is we can constantly look at our life and just decide what we want to elevate in this season. Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't go live as often as I used to. I think it's a challenge even getting visibility on here. I shared at the start, you guys, that my account is like so censored. It's ridiculous. I barely talk about the things anymore. But anyway, I recently realized that no one can DM me if we haven't DM'd before. I should say no one, maybe some of you have been able to, but it basically tells you can't DM me. And then I'm being pushed to the bottom of feeds. I was wondering why you find it easier to create new calendars instead of having only one and adding the different commitments. So I basically have a rolling Google Calendar. So everything in there is automated. So if I was to scroll forward to the year of 2050, all of my automations, as they are right now, would be living in that year. But what I do is on a seasonal basis, I have a good look at it and I decide what needs to go, what needs to come on, basically because it's what I'm feeling I need support in, so that it becomes reality, right? So not everything comes into every season. Am I on Twitter? No, I'm really not. Yeah, I could do lives on there. Did any of you join the space that Elon and Trump did? Billions of views on there. Boy. Yeah, maybe I should look into that. I'm going to make a note. X, we're calling it, right? Don't love the name, but okay. Oh, and I also wanted to tell you guys, I am streaming right now from our new Airbnb. It just went live last night. So I'm just doing a few more details to get it up and going. But I mean, it is live, it is bookable, but I just want to keep putting some finishing touches on it. So I'm here today and probably over the next few days, just infusing it. If you go to wholefit.com, you'll see a link for the Airbnbs. This is our second one. I've really enjoyed creating these spaces with my husband and just, creating that little wellness home away from home for people. So many are saying that they weren't able to even join the live because it was blocked and then they came back in. How ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Oh well, we carry on. All right, well, I'm gonna hop out now. I'll see you when I see you. Enjoy this content. I'm gonna keep this landing up until September the 1st. Bye guys.